to have a look at a new film, and let's go ahead and just jump right into the review. We're talking Chris Hemsworth in Extraction, written by Joe Russo, and this is based off a graphic novel, Dad, which I know nothing about, and we got to see this film today. It just dropped this morning. It's very much like an action-packed action movie. Like, I would say this is the most Chris Hemsworth has been like an action star in any film rather than just being Thor. You had a chance to see it though, Chaz. What did you think?
No, I like seeing Chris Hemsworth take on different roles that aren't Disney related, like superhero related. But I also appreciate the fact that they didn't focus on, because like a lot of movies will focus on like these actors who are like that ripped, like have like shirtless scenes and all that, and like this one didn't sexualize him at all. Like he's just a complete badass.
Yeah, there wasn't any like, let's do a quick shot of him showering before he starts into the battle.
Yeah. There's like there's no cheesiness,
or when like those convenient plot things where like, we're giving you the mission right now, and he's just conveniently just ripping his clothes off and getting stuff on. He's like, I've been there before.
Yeah,
you like, do have some of those cheesy scenes, but it's not like, let's go nudity.
Yeah. So I think he's a talented guy. Like, I'm excited to see what else he does.
I liked this film. I'm gonna be honest. It's nowhere near like a perfect film, but it's a fun little action film with some flaws. And you've touched on it before we started this with the writing, so I'm gonna let you handle most of that, and I'll talk about some of the good, because the first thing that stuck out to me personally was the action. I think this is some of the best action that we're gonna get this year. I don't think honestly, there will not be a film that will be out this year that will have this much action in it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the action is top notch. There's like a take in there that's like a one take.
Yes, so it's a 10-minute one take, and it starts as a car chase and eventually leads into more hand-to-hand combat. But the camera work is insane in it. Like they're panning from probably a guy on a motorcycle holding a camera to him handing it off to somebody that's been hiding underneath the backseat of a car that just did like a tailspin around another car, and he catches the camera in there, throws it out, someone else catches it and is just running with him again. I'm sure there's a lot of like stitched together stuff, but man, those kind of scenes with action heavy stuff are so fun to me.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me a lot of like the foreign films like Raid and Raid 2.
Ooh, totally. I could totally see that for the Raid 2.
The camera work in that is so
especially
intense.
That prison scene.
Yeah, and so intense and long takes and very well choreographed. And this movie had the same level of intensity.
It's intense.
Yeah.
It's intense for sure, and it's got a pretty simple plot. Tyler Rake is the character Chris Hemsworth is playing. He's a black market mercenary. He's embarking on this deadly extraction. He's enlisted to rescue a kidnapped son of this imprisoned international crime lord, and it's really just him going in and getting that son, and deal goes bad, bang bang boom boom. There's not too much to it, and I think they did a lot with a simple story like that.
More or less, yeah.
But whether it was written the right way, Chaz, we'll have to find out. What do you think?
I think so. For me personally, they try to give Chris Hemsworth character so much depth, and it came off as the most two-dimensional character ever. And then that would have been okay, because like he's always shooting people, so like there's not much to give anyway. But like we didn't even see any humanity in the kid either. And the plot devices that were used were so predictable. Like the moment, somebody comes on screen, like a certain somebody, it's like, oh, like I know where this is going to go. And of course it plays out exactly as you'd expect. And so the way it ended, like I'm not going to spoil it, but like I don't feel like it was well deserved to end that way. So
it definitely does rely on a lot of tropes for like action films. And maybe the comic does that as well, and they were keeping true to it. And there was some type of twist or something like that, but
yeah, and I didn't know that this was based off a comic. So
yeah, well, Joe Russo, from what I understand, between Anthony and Joe, he is more of the comic loving side of that director team. and
Yeah.
Anthony's more of like getting the shots or whatever they're working on. I I think there's that. I guess the only, if there's any flaws to me, sure, it's cheesy, but I also really like Bad Boys for Life, and that thing was so damn cheesy that I can't really knock this either. Yeah, he's got a lot of one-liners, um, and there's not a lot of depth within the characters' interactions. They try to do it, but it ends up being kind of boring between each action scene. But you get to see Chris Hemsworth slap the shit out of a lot of kids in this. Like this is John Wick if an 8-year-old killed the dog. And he just like walked in, just started slapping the shit out of a ton of kids. Some
Yeah.
daycare.
No, I agree with that. And I think the cinematography and the music are definitely worth mentioning. And like the performances weren't bad either. I mean, the performances were pretty fine. But for me, really, it's just the writing that took me out. And like halfway through, I'm like, I don't know. Like by the end, I was just asking what the point even was.
I think Chris Hemsworth. It was a good little like start for. I wonder if this is from their production company that they just started, because the Russo brothers just started a new production company. I think this might be one of the first films from it.
Oh,
And so it might be kind of their starter for it. You know how
yeah.
Robert Downey Jr. did The Judge when he started his production company back then. But it does prove to me that Chris Hemsworth can be way more than just Thor. And I had a very specific thought. Why haven't we done anything with Crocodile Dundee?
That's such an old movie. I have no idea.
It's such an old movie, exactly. And the more I kept listening to Chris Hemsworth, the more I kept thinking his comedic chops and his ability to do really great action shots like this. Imagine a world where we have John Wick style action, but with like Deadpool style comedy, but it's Crocodile Dundee.
I haven't seen that movie in forever, so like I have
I
nothing
haven't
to
seen it
compare
either,
it
but I get the gist, you know. That's a knife. I get that.
out.
I want to see Chris Hemsworth doing that, is what I'm saying. I think it would work.
Do you think Chris Hemsworth could ever pull off a role of being a dad?
Hasn't he already?
I don't know. Is it worth
I'm not
mentioning?
sure.
Should we look at his filmography real quick?
Yeah, we'll go through this. What if that's what Thor: Love and Thunder is about? For your father.
Dude, what would Thor's son be? Is there a Thor's son?
I don't know. That's a good question. See,
Rush, Black Hat, Huntsman, Ghostbusters,
Rush. Maybe he had a kid. I don't know.
Doctor Strange, Rush, Bad Times at the El Royale.
Maybe. Oh, I seem to remember. Oh, okay. We're about to kick ourselves in the tit. You ready for this? He fucking birthed Captain Kirk. God damn it! In Star Trek. What's wrong with us? Oh my. No, that was the wrong one. We're not proud. We're not proud of ourselves. No. That was we messed it up. It was the worst.
Oh, rest in peace.
All right, I'm done.
There goes our
That goes all our cred.
yeah.
Hashtag film Twitter on this. God damn it. I don't know. That's our freak
Okay,
out for the day.
But to be fair, some people of that fan base will say, "Well, that movie sucked anyway." So, hell yeah, shit on it all you want, bro. I don't believe that, by the way.
I don't think this sucked. I don't think that this sucked at all. In a world where beggars can't be choosers, take what you can get.
Dude,
This was a pretty decent action film. I'm not saying for you specifically, Chaz. I saw that look.
I'm saying if this is the best that we're gonna get all of 2020, I'm gonna be so disappointed because we have all these great blockbusters lined up, but because of the coronavirus, who knows if we're gonna be seeing them this year at all.
There's a chance for some, and honestly, there's a chance for some. Like studios are not going to let the films that were already there just to make a quick buck not try to make their money's worth. I think Marvel is holding on to their properties specifically because probably Black Widow has a lot of tie-ins and it's bigger than people think. I saw this film theory thing about um, Black Widow maybe tying up into introducing the Dark Avengers.
What's that?
So it's or I guess the Thunderbolts, I guess is what they're named.
Explain it.
Thunder.
Explain it to me like I'm 5.
So the Thunderbolts are like. Did you watch The Boys?
Yes, I did actually.
It's the Thunderbolts are the equivalent of the Boys, like the superhero group, whatever that Justice Society is, where they're pretending that they're good, but they do stupid shit and fucked up shit.
Okay.
So like, it's from Thunderbolt Ross. So the guy that's been from Incredible Hulk, Civil War, he's been around. He becomes Red Hulk in it, and in Black Widow, he's featured in the film. The company that makes Red Hulk, apparently there's something in the trailer that shows that that company is involved. There's a few things. I won't spoil too much because if it turns out to be true, there's a Black Widow fan that's been waiting for decades, and I just ruined it for them. I'm sorry, but I think that's an interesting idea. The smaller budget stuff, though, they have to get a profit off of it. That's why they released Trolls World Tour. We're gonna see that kind of stuff. But Netflix, we have no idea what they've done. They could have a ton ready. A lot of streaming services, possibly, that were already going to release their things. Like the Sundance films are going to premiere, I am assuming.
Yeah. Okay. Didn't South by Southwest try to cut a deal with Amazon?
They did. No, they did have a deal
that.
where they were premiering some of their features.
Southwest Amazon.
Yeah,
because I know a lot of the filmmakers actually had issues with that too.
Because it's just going through streaming on a small screen.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I get both sides of the argument, but I'm going as purely a selfish consumer. Just give me the shit. You know what I mean? Like, I think the first studio needs to be bold enough to put out a big release and maybe make it pretty expensive. That's the only thing that's going to suck for us, though, the individual people that are wanting to review this kind of stuff will be shelling out a lot more money rather than like just a regular movie ticket to go see it. But for a family value, if they could, release a big property for $50 and you get to keep it, people would do it.
They would. That's my issue, though, is like, because I was talking to you about that, like when I was watching The Hunt, how it's $20 to rent for 2 days. You're not going to guaranteed to like it, but like that $20 for one person is a crap ton of money. Because here in Utah, it's only like what, $7.25, $9.25 or whatever, give or take. So it sucks. I feel like there should be a workaround somehow.
Maybe there will be. I mean, we do have a lot of more content that's coming, and I guess let's close out our Extraction because we kind of went on a tangent on this shit. Oh. Okay, so Extraction. What is your final word on it, and what is your rating?
I wish I could have extracted myself out of it in the middle of the movie.
Jesus Christ, Chad. God. No judgment. It's okay if you didn't like it. That's fine. If I'm being honest, I really was bored through a lot of the parts where they were just getting from one place to another as far as getting to the action scenes.
Yeah.
I didn't care about the story too much. I didn't care about the characters. I like Chris Hemsworth as a badass action hero, and that's what sold this movie for me. And the action itself. I'm a fan of the one takes, and when you can do it well, like this film did for some of its action stuff, it's worth it for me. I would give it a 6 out of 10.
Okay. So it's 2.5 out of 5 and 6 out of 10.
Yeah, I think that's fair in some ways. But you guys tell us, what do you think about Extraction? Whatever your thoughts are, leave a comment down below. If you haven't seen it yet, are you going to check it out over the weekend? Or if not, what are some of the contents that you watch? Let us know either way.